Florian's speech tonight is taking responsibility for your own personal development. Taking responsibility for your own personal development.
With a speech about taking responsibility for your own personal development, please welcome to the stage, Florian!
What is the one thing that distinguishes humans from other animals? Yes, brain cells, as someone mentioned. Our brains are probably the most powerful force in the universe in some respect. Because just think about it. If you look at the world around you, just see this building, you see this great city of London, you see all the hidden infrastructure that makes London tick. The underground, the electricity grid, the Thames Tideway sewers, and so on, and all the laws and legislation. Such a complex and fragile structure, a little bit like a spider web becoming ever more complicated. All of that came from one thing, the human brain. Why? Because some people took responsibility to deliver something. They were tasked to build something, and they went away and just did it. But can we do the same for ourselves? Or perhaps is life fate, destiny, karma, feng shui, whatever way you want to put it? Could we not use the same force that was used to build this great city of London to direct our lives? I believe we can. And I'll give a few examples from my own personal story to try and make it a little bit more relatable to you in the audience. What about me? I was shaped by circumstances in some respect. I was born in France, born to a loving family, but where there were some problems behind the surface, shall we say, where mummy became very, very sick at some point. This affected me deeply. But I was at that stage at 6 years old or so, or 7 years old, where you actually don't have a lot of independent thoughts, because you cannot really survive on your own. Someone's got to feed you, someone's got to clothe you, someone's got to take care of you, basically. There is very little you can do on your own. Or could it? There's one thing I did back in these dark days, and that was the power to imagine. The power of imagination, of imagining perhaps a desired future for myself, or a desired state where I would like things to be. In that case, I imagined cities, that I started writing about them, drawing about them, building them out of Lego bricks, painstakingly one by one. I built an entire city made of Lego bricks in my bedroom. That made me dream and triggered something in my mind. What about later, when I became older, when I became a teenager? I was bullied at school, had some troubles, but somehow I managed to build a shield around me. In these dark circumstances where I had the older kids bullying me, and I had my older dad, obviously, bullying me as well at home, in his own different way. It's called education, if you're a parent, apparently. I managed to somehow build a shell around me. I just withdraw into my imaginary world, as I mentioned it earlier. Books about science. I started not thinking about cities this time. Cities in space, cities in the star, seeding the stars with the seeds of mankind. I would lock myself in the toilet and start to tell stories of me leading a great empire when mankind was seeding the star. With a lot of detail. I remember the name of the planets, I remember some of the actions I took. We had some epic wars and so on, and I ended up living for a very long time. Courtesy of being hibernated a couple of times because of war that were lasting forever. Now, what about later, when I became an adult, when I was on the cusp of adulthood? This is where I made decisions for myself. I said, Florian, my current life here in France, something's not working quite right for me. I'm not really happy. There is something A little bit wrong, perhaps with me, or perhaps with the environment. And that's where I made the decision to leave. I made the decision to move to another country to go and study in the United Kingdom at the University of Bath. I did apply for Oxford, I did go to the interview, but somehow they didn't want me. I was suspicious as to why though. I forgot to sign the check when I was in the application form. So perhaps because they were €25 or £25 short, they felt, that guy cannot count obviously, so we're not gonna have him. I don't use checks anymore, so this problem will never ever happen again. And I made that decision to direct my life going forward. And this is a process that carries on through these days. Recently I met someone. We were in Portsmouth this morning and last night together. And we were just kind of learning to know each other. It's a very new experience for me to be in a relationship. But I've got a choice. I can either say, well actually I'm not going to like it, I'm going to become a monk and dedicate myself to my life objectives, or say, I'm going to try and get out of my comfort zone and make this relationship work. It is all a choice. I am a firm believer in the power of choice, fundamentally. Because let's face it, humans choose to build this city of London. Our ancestor, Brutus of Troy, apparently chose to build this city of London. Why did he choose to build it here? For reasons we do not know. But that's where something fascinating could come into being. If someone had the foresight to think really far about the future, they could make a series of choices, a series of continuous choice to direct potentially the entirety of mankind in the direction where they would want to. Or potentially the entirety of a nation in the way they would want to. The power of choice. We can use it in our lives, and once we have made it in our life, we can potentially unleash that power onto the world. Choose your power wisely, ladies and gentlemen.